Yo, what is going on, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, A Beautiful Game of Life, part of the Believe Network. I'm Ramsey Abushala, editor of UrbanPitch.com. Julio Matarosa, Brigitte Flores. To my left, co-executive directors of Vibes. What's going on, y'all? How we doing?
Wrapping up the year.
Wrapping up the year. It's coming
We
up.
made it. We
did make it. Bridget.
Julio was like nostalgic for a
Yeah,
second.
he was reflecting. He was in a whole reflective mood right there. Yeah.
I did it all this year.
The fails, the
He's
falls.
like, what haven't I done?
Yeah. Like someone, don't like someone.
Dang.
Got music, no music. I don't know. I've been all over the place this year.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I feel like it was a very eventful year. I mean, and looking back on it, it always flies. Like I feel like
Sheesh, man.
once the summer hits, it's like everything just like goes into fast forward, and then like you blink and it's December.
Yeah.
But we're here, man. We're here. Like Bridget, I'm glad that you're back. It's been we took last week off for Thanksgiving, so it feels like we haven't seen you in extra long. I feel like we've been saying that a lot, but you were just out on a vacation, excursion trip.
Yes, sir.
It was a
Talk
work
about
trip
it a little
to Colombia.
bit. Yeah.
It was business purposes.
Yes, right. You wrote it off
Right.
as business purposes.
Me and
right.
Jess on basically Hermanas.
Right.
Inc.
It was a social.
LLC.
Yeah.
La Reina del Sur, season 4.
We had to go test some products out over there. I'm not gonna say what, but I'm just kidding.
Interesting. Please.
Please tell us more. Yeah, no, super thankful that I had the chance to go out to Colombia for about a week with Jess. Overall, amazing trip. I highly recommend that you go to Colombia if you have a chance. Every time we would tell people that we were going, because it was only me and her, everyone would always tell us, especially the people that we know that are from Colombia, the first thing they would say is like, be very careful, like make sure, you know, like you're staying low key and don't wear excessive jewelry, so that was definitely something on our minds while we were out there. And of course, I think anywhere you go, you have to be mindful of where you're at.
Did you check in with anyone? Was there anyone you have to check in with?
Out there, not necessarily.
It was
now
Carol
I have,
G. Hey, Carol G. Like, I'm gonna be in your
I
time.
had to call, Fercho and Carol. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, it was cool though. Overall, it was super dope. There's so much to see. I feel like every day we were learning something new, like about the history, about the culture, about the country, the people. We did a cooking class. Like I'm about to cook that again. Like I think about the food every day. Like here's the thing. I grew up with a bit of like Colombian culture because my cousin's dad is Colombian. So growing up, we always had a little bit of that, and I always loved it, especially the food. And so when I was out there trying the arepas de chocolo, which is our like, it's basically like this like flour type food that has like chocolate taste to it, and you put cheese on top. Oh my God, trying it out there was just like the most satisfying thing ever. Like it was so good, and then just to know that I was out there, it just like a full circle moment. So I definitely missed the food from Colombia, but everything about it was dope. I think my favorite thing that we didn't plan, but as soon as we got out there, I looked up, was going to the soccer game out there.
Yeah, and it was an eventful one.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
This is one of the biggest rivalries in the country, okay? Yeah. We're talking about like one of the biggest, and it's most like very recognized by FIFA themselves,
right,
like as like a really big rivalry game. It's like the derby of Medellin in Colombia, because it's two home teams from Medellin that played against each other. But not only were they playing against each other, they were playing each other that during the Copa Colombia.
Was it Libertadores?
It was Copa Colombia.
Oh, the domestic cup.
Yeah, the domestic cup, like the FA for
right,
England.
Yeah.
So
like
that's
US
currently,
Open Cup,
which is currently happening right now. So that game, it was Atletico Nacional, which they're like known as like Los Verdes, versus Independiente Medellin, which is known for like Los Rojos, like the red team.
Today's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your #1 source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, to NHL and the UFC. Head to Bet Online today and don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here.
So when I saw that they were playing, I'm like, Jess, I'm like, we have to change. Mind you, we planned our whole trip a month in advance, like an Excel sheet, Word doc, like to the T, like where we were going. When we got there and I saw that they were playing, I'm like, dude, we have to go to this game. There's no way.
No,
There's no way. I told her, I was like, we have to go. We struggled getting tickets online. It wouldn't take my card. I couldn't get on the app. Like, I had the bellboy help me. He couldn't do it. So then he tells me, he's like, hey, listen, like, my brother, he sells tickets. I don't know if you want me to hit him up. And I'm like, how?
He was doing the credit card wrong.
Yeah. I'm like, how confident, how trustworthy is this? And I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I trust you. And he's like, no, I get it. Like, let me see what I could do for you. And if you could get them for me, I'll let you know, whatever. Mind you, they were like, basically like almost field level ticket games for like $20. And at first we were going to get those, but then we didn't and thank God we didn't, because the atmosphere there is a whole nother thing. But anyway, we struggled to get them. He finally finds a way to get tickets and he's letting me know. And this is like how I was like, either two things. Either he's being super honest with me or he's being like the biggest liar, because he would send me literally like 15 voice messages like, hola, señorita, like this whole story, like telling me word for word, verbatim what he was doing.
Right.
For $20, I'm like, all right. I'll
that level of detail is like either you're a big liar or this
like you're being very loyal.
Yeah.
A long story short with that, he ended up getting us the tickets. He sent me a screenshot of a QR code, because out there now they use QR codes, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm like, we're about to show up and either we're gonna like look dumb trying to scan these tickets or they're gonna go through. So we're like, whatever, let's do it. So we go to the stadium, and mind you, I was going for the green team because growing up I remember seeing my uncle wearing the green jersey.
Higuita, a real famous Colombian player for that team.
Yeah. So
94 national team.
Yeah.
And it's one of the biggest teams out there as well. It's one of the strongest teams. So I was like, Jess, we got to go for the green team. And me and her plan, like, when we get to the stadium, we're going to buy the green jersey and wear it and rep and, like, be with the green side. And she's like, yeah, for sure, bet. So we're getting there, and we get dropped off, and I literally see a sea of red. And I'm just like, we got dropped off on the wrong side. So I'm like, let's walk around to the other side. And we keep walking, and it's just like red, like everywhere. And then Jess is like, I don't think there's a green side. And I'm like, there has to be. They're playing against the other team that's green.
No, but those teams.
And we were so confused, whatever, like we make line to go in. And thankfully, we didn't wear anything green.
Affiliated.
Yeah, but we're making line to go in because they directed us to like the gate. I think what I love about that stadium is that like you get there, you know how out here we have tailgates? Out there they have like small little like food stands that have TVs that are playing the game. So you could just hang out outside of the stadium, eat and watch the game. It's crazy. It's like such a crazy atmosphere. Whatever, we get inside and literally the whole stadium is red, like pitch red. And I was just like, where's the other team? Like, who are they playing against? What is going on? I was so confused. And then we finally get to our seats. Mind you, even that was a whole nother thing, because here you look for your row, you look for your section, and then you look for the number of seats. We're doing that, and the freaking seat number was all faded. So we're like, and then the row was faded. So everybody's just looking at us like, who are you? Because everyone in our section was wearing red except for us. And I was just like, oh my God, we're standing out. They're just staring at us. And we asked like, oh, what row is this? And they're like, we don't know. Like, we don't know. We don't do that here. So whatever, we just sit in 2 empty seats. And I'm just like, what is going on? Next thing you know, I asked the lady next to me, and I was like, why isn't the other team here? Like, where's the fans of the other team? She's like, oh, no, it's because
it's dangerous.
And I can't remember exactly. I forgot to ask more specifics. But basically, it was like the second leg. And in the first leg of the game, I think the green team got in a fight. So then they banned the fans for this second game. But also, I think for each leg, they take turns because they both play in that stadium. That's both of their home stadium. Right. So each leg is for a different
so they'll
fan
let
base.
fans in. Do you think was the fan ban in effect regardless of, like, do they only let like fans of Independiente for one game and then fans of the other for the other? Is that how they
I think they
it to
take turns,
okay.
But I'm also thinking maybe they do take turns, and also they did get like a warning, so they got banned for this game because of their
the fight.
Right. So it's one of those two things.
Okay.
But that's basically what it was. Like, they only allowed the red team's fan base in. But imagine, like, this stadium, I think, holds like more than 35,000 people. And the whole stadium was filled with red. Like red, and there was a bunch of, it was packed. It was jam-packed. So I'm like, I cannot believe that one team filled this whole stadium. Like, I can only imagine what it looks like when both teams are there.
Yeah, because in South America, like, just going for, like, I know Argentina and Boca Juniors Stadium, they don't let nobody else in.
Right.
But Boca fans, but it's because, like, the people that sell the tickets is like the 3252. They're in charge of distributing the tickets.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, the front office gives to them, and, like, whatever the price is, they take over because, like, right there, the fan bases actually control and, like, police the stadium as well.
Yeah, dude. And that's literally what it was, because I kid you not, in my head, I'm like, how does one front office organize this? I have no idea, because it looked chaotic to me. But I can imagine, like, that's probably what it is, because even, like, when I try to do the tickets through the Atletico Nacional's account, it wasn't letting me. And then I realized, I'm like, it's probably why, because they were only letting the red team's fans in.
Yeah.
And only if you knew probably someone from the fan base of the supporters, you were able to buy tickets. So that's what it was. I was just in shock with just, like, the amount of fans that one team carried, and then to bring into the stadium. And then the game itself, dude, like, one, there was hella fights everywhere. Like, there was a fight upstairs, a fight down to my right, to the left. You have the players fighting, even within their own fan base. Like, people were just fighting. The players were fighting.
Sounds like Galaxy fans.
Dude, they were kicking. I'm like, they were like, dude, there was one play where the goalie got kicked in the face. It was a whole, it was crazy. And even before the game started, we didn't realize we were in the section where the banners were going up.
I saw that video.
That was the funniest thing, because we're over here, like, in shock. And the next thing you know, the banner goes up. And that was Jessica's first time being under a banner. So she was just, like, taken back. And everybody around us was laughing at us, because we were just, like, giggling. Like, we looked like little girls. Thankfully, the people around us were really cool. But, dude, like, just the amount of support, and, like, the fan base is so rich out there. I literally felt like I was, like, in soccer dream world. Like, it was the dopest experience I could have ever had. Even if it was for the team I wasn't going for, just experiencing that itself was insane. And, like, we only get, like, a small taste of that here.
Right. Yeah, no, they don't allow
like,
it here.
Nowhere near. And they even have, like, the flares in the fan base. Yeah, it's insane. Like, and you could literally hear, like when they're chanting, the whole stadium is chanting. Everybody knows the songs. The little kids, like the moms, like the women, like, are so invested. It was crazy.
Do they give, like, booklets with the songs?
No,
because, like, from the outside looking in, I'm like, that's one thing. I'm like, how the hell does everybody know it? Because, like, I seen Boca Juniors like videos on YouTube, and it's like, everybody like how do you, like, do they teach this in school?
It's like, you know how we all know nursery rhymes, like, I feel like you know, it's just passed down, like, you know, they're grown up into it.
But, like, they come up with, like, every player that comes in.
That's true though.
How, like,
well, that's the thing. I think you literally see, like, little babies in there, like, they're growing up in this culture, so they're probably hearing their parents singing these songs. So they grow up, like you said, like, memorizing these songs, and they're ready to sing it when they go to the games. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the case, because there's so many. There was one chant where they were doing, like, they were saying something, and then at the end of it, they would whistle, and then the whole stadium would whistle. I have a video of it.
Sick.
Dude, I literally had the chills just, like, listening to them chant, like, da 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 da, and then like, the whole stadium. It was so sick to see. Also, something happened. There was, like, an explosion that happened while we're watching the game.
Hell no, I'm out.
And next thing you know, like, the far side of the stadium, the bottom, there were supporters standing in, like, where all the flags were one side of it. You just see the bottom level just start running. Like, you just see a swarm of people. I wish I would have recorded it. I didn't. You just see a swarm of the fans just running into the like, tunnel, and, like, more and more. And then you just see, like, someone go like this, and I'm like, Jess, dude, something's happening. And I look at her, and I'm like, oh my God, what if something's about to happen and we're here? Like, I was like, I have no idea where we're gonna go. And you just see them all running inside, and then they make an announcement. And they say, like, attention everybody, that explosion that you heard, it was like a flare went off, and it just went off on the inside, so you heard it loud, but everything's okay, everything's under control. And then you just start to see the supporters come back.
Another Tuesday.
And that's literally another, like, you know, like, to say that, like, something happens and the supporters are the first ones to go. Like, not even the cops or the emergency people were going. It was just like the fans. It was crazy.
Yeah, they control the stadium, and from like I saw some videos, is I think they control like the ticket sales and the drug sales inside the stadium. So it's like their own little gang ecosystem in there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It is.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was like a really big game. The red team ended up winning, but the aggregate was 2-0, so they needed technically 3 goals. To advance, so they didn't.
So
the green team.
So Nacional advanced. Okay, listen.
And they have
to
a
this.
Mexican coach.
Yeah.
They do have a Mexican coach, and then there was a whole like news broke out because the coach, the green team's coach, got suspended for 3 years, which is insane.
All he did was like to the fans.
Yeah.
It's
And
crazy.
I think we might have brought it up, Julio, in the last episode, and that punishment, like it seems extremely harsh.
Definitely.
100%.
And especially not knowing that, having that background info that, it was a sea of Independiente fans that he was doing that to. It makes more sense that he would be all fired up for that. Because
everyone's talking smack to the green team. Everyone's talking smack to him.
Right.
Like, they're coming for him. Like, and you know what's the craziest part? Like, literally, they're talking smack to these players. Like, they're not saying like, "Come on, rap." No, they're like, the red team themselves would do something dumb or like bad or a wrong pass, and you just see all the fans get up and they're just like saying all these Colombian like yeah. Like, I'm not even gonna say them on the here, but you know what and like they would even run to the field and yell it and then come back to their spot, and like the security would not stop them. And it's just like they get so intense, and like you can literally feel the anger. It was crazy. And so that's also why the coach got suspended, because it was literally a whole stadium
a sea
of red.
of opposing fans.
Which is the funny thing about, well, not the funny thing, but so they won, right? The green team won. They advanced to the final for Copa Colombia. And I told Jess, so then the next day I told Jess, I'm like, dude, they're playing América de Cali for the final. And I was like, and we're going to Cali in a few days. So I was like, imagine the final is when we're in Cali. I was so excited. I was like, I'm about to plan this. Like, we're following them to the end. But we get to Cali, and we bumped into this like guy who was giving us a tour of coffee. And we were explaining to him that we went to the game. And I asked him, I was like, when is the final? And he was like, oh, no, that's not happening until December. And I'm like, a whole month until the final? I was like, why?
Because they have the domestic league. They have like Copa Libertadores.
They do have the domestic league.
The Copa Libertadores. But I think it was already towards the end of the Copa Libertadores.
No, the Libertadores isn't happening right now. It's just the regular season.
The final just happened with Botafogo, and I forget the other team.
Yeah, right now their only league is happening is Primera A. But the reason why they push it until December is because apparently in recent years, what something that's been popping off in Colombia has been betting on games via an app, via phone.
Right.
So they didn't have access to that before. Now they do. So a lot of people are starting to bet. A lot of people are starting to bet online on these games.
Bet online.
Bet online.
The game starts. They have a different app out there that's the main sponsor of the teams. And so he was telling us that they want to give people time to save up to bet online for this final, but also to buy tickets for the final. Yeah. And I'm like, that is crazy that they think of that. Like, on the one end, it makes sense, right? People need to save up and work to make it to the final, because I'm sure people want to go.
$20 ticket.
But then also, I mean, $20 for us, which is like,
crazy,
joking.
it's like 800 or I don't even know how much, like Colombian pesos. Dude, yes, but also no. So yeah, the fact that like they take that into consideration, I thought that was crazy as hell.
Yeah, it really is a completely different world, like you were saying. When I was in Brazil, I went to go see a game in Santos, and that was like my first in stadium like experience of like international soccer, and it was like so like and this was when I was like just starting to kind of get into like,
you're hooked after that.
Yeah, and so. You mentioned like the food stands outside of the stadium. So we went there before the game for a drink, just hanging out. And I mean, they all spoke Portuguese and we didn't speak Portuguese. So, but we were just there, kind of trying to make conversation. They had like skewers of meat, cooking on a fire outside. Go into the stadium. There's like all kinds of flares. It was just such a wild experience. And then after the game, we went out, same thing, had a couple drinks at that same, like, it looked like a corner store almost, with the fluorescent lights and, the
plastic
Capina.
Yeah, exactly.
Capina.
Caipirinhas.
Yeah.
I mean, just like that experience is so wild, and it's so cool that you can have that. You can kind of connect to whoever at those games, 100%. And that's really what made me I was like, yeah, dude, this is.
Yeah, it gives you another a whole other sense of appreciation. To me, it just validated and amplified my love for soccer, because I got to see it. I got to see the love behind it in South America, and in a country that's Latino and that has that passion. And I didn't grow up with that, and we don't really have that here. We have it in a way, but not compared.
Not at the level.
Not at that level.
So it's
my day will be okay if my team loses.
Yeah. Right. Over there, oh my gosh, when Colombia was playing the international game against freaking, who did they lose against? Uruguay? You know how there was also the
right, yeah.
So Colombia was playing one evening, and we're at this coffee tour, and it's just me, Jess, and the little family. And the whole time outside, you just hear oh, you BS, and you just hear people yelling and screaming, and I'm like, dude, they're screaming because of the game, huh? And then the locals that were there, they're like, yeah, the Colombia's playing right now, and they were losing, so you could even you could hear the anger even more. People are just yelling bad words,
learning new words.
Literally, at 7 p.m. at night, everyone's asleep, and you just hear people yelling. And it was just I was like, the fact that this is happening right now because of that game, and I know that's why, it's crazy. You're not gonna really have that out here.
Did you see any of those? Because they just came with the special edition,
the third kit.
The third, with the cream base with the stripes.
I think they used that for that game.
Yeah, they must have been wearing them.
Oh
yeah. Those are sweet. Those are so cool.
They're really nice. We tried. You know what? I didn't come across any of the original ones, but there were so many replicas and the bootleg ones. I brought one back for my cousin because she was like, bring it back. She's Colombian, so I've got her a jersey. Literally everywhere. All those jerseys are everywhere. The original yellow one is out there. The burgundy from last year is out there. And of course, Messi.
Right.
You see Messi, a bunch of Messi jerseys everywhere.
The Inter Miami.
The Inter Miami, the pink one. Yeah, it's crazy.
Surprised there's no more James James.
Yeah. There's a few. I think obviously there's a few James ones, but no, definitely you'll have your Messi jerseys here.
Did it not confuse you when you first saw his name? His name was really James.
Yeah, I mean, what was it, 2010 World Cup? Yeah. I mean, and James, then LeBron was even tweeting about him at that time, and yeah,
man. Yeah. I think instead of doing an MLS game, we should just go international.
Freaking TJ right down the corner.
First road trip. Oh,
TJ.
we could go see Cholos play. I'd be down.
Cholos Quinkles.
I want to see them play.
Is Joanna still playing?
No,
she's in
Puebla.
Right?
Puebla, yeah.
No, Monterrey.
Puebla.
Yeah.
I'm not going that deep into Mexico.
You'll be fine, dude. It was.
No, I'm gonna be fine, but I just might get a job and not come back.
I don't think you'll work. I mean,
Chapo.
That's the point. Yeah, that's the point. The point is to get a job where you don't work. That's the goal.
Yeah, if you guys see me in the list of FBI most wanted.
You end up being assistant coach for their team.
I think I know that guy.
With an announcement.
And the colorful flowery shirt.
Warning.
We'll put a part of our family announcement.
When you arrive to the airport, it said they have the
have
faces.
You seen this? Bro, is that?
Julio?
They all mean with the gun up like this.
With the Urban Pitch sweater.
Why is he happy?
This is a known crime syndicate. It must be with the Urban Pitch logo. Gets us in trouble.
That's his cartel.
United people, la people.
United people.
La people.
For the
la
people.
La UP.
La UP. Oh my gosh. They're going to start looking for us under UP.
Yeah, all right. Maybe we don't go that.
Nah, let's not go.
Let's not go that far. Yeah. I think we can make it to the Cholos game though.
Yeah,
and then come back.
Sure. Yeah, little San Diego weekend, go down.
Yeah, low.
Okay. Every San Diego trip we've had, it has not failed.
It hasn't
failed.
Yeah, it hasn't failed. Yeah,
it hasn't failed.
Hasn't failed. I think that's a good way of putting it. It might not have been.
Way to sum it up.
It might not have been a complete total success, but it wasn't a failure. You're right.
Yeah.
Some
Taking
things,
it back.
Yeah.
things.
No, like the
things
first
happen.
time John went crazy with
at the
Teapot bottle service, thought he was 21
right,
again.
Yeah, at his
Then
spot.
At his spot. He sent a video of people getting kicked out of his
yeah,
spot.
yeah,
That's an inside joke. Sorry about that, but no, it hasn't felt like. I think we had fun. We
did have fun.
We had fun.
It was a great time.
we might have to go see a San Diego Loyal. The new San Diego team.
What are they called?
let's-
FC?
SC.
San Diego FC, right?
San Diego FC. So we just might have to plan a trip of one of those games to check out the stadium and do a San Diego run.
Yeah.
And then take it further and go to
Then
Costa
Mexico,
Rica.
we gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We'll write that down
At
on our
some
list
point,
of
please.
trips that are
Vision
all-
board,
we
starting
got
now.
Colorado,
Let's make a vision board for
Colorado's it's
2025.
for sure this year.
Colorado, New York, Austin,
Atlanta.
I can do it, Austin.
Atlanta, and Tijuana. Those are our 5 2025 bucket
trips?
list.
I just saw
road trips.
Keisha Cole said that the reason she left Atlanta was because there was more women to men ratio. So I'm so down with Atlanta. She said
Well,
she
you
feel
got
like
family in Atlanta too.
Yeah.
So we gotta.
they live in the outskirts though. I'm trying to party. Like,
Yeah.
I'll visit them 5 times. I'm joking. I love y'all.
Not him just being out here.
He's what in the valley of Atlanta.
Yeah,
Atlanta's
basically.
version?
He's like
Okay.
35 minutes out.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
miss
Speaking
him.
of like the new year and wrapping up the year, I think now is as good of a time as ever to kind of look back on the year that was. I know a lot of like the Spotify Wrapped and Apple Music Replay have come out. We talked about the last episode for Thanksgiving. Just the stuff that we were thankful for, all the experiences that we had specifically this year. But I think. Whether it's the events, the tournaments, the summer was crazy. Like I think just looking back at 2024, it was there's a lot of things going on like within MLS, outside of MLS, like in international, like so. What are some of your guys' favorite moments from this year, soccer-wise, and then we can get into the Spotify and Apple Music of it all to close it out.
Man, the fact that we're getting closer, like we're gonna be able to start saying like we're a year away from the World Cup is insane to me.
Yeah.
I literally feel like we just had that one final watch party.
That brutal watch
That
party.
brutal.
Where, speaking of losing Julio, we lost Julio
we
that
lost
day.
him, all right.
Yeah.
He was there physically, but not like his soul was on another level.
Yeah.
That was 2022, guys.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
Also, the fact that feels like last year.
That feels,
Yeah.
it does. Yeah, we're just talking about that was the day after the Earn Pitch holiday party
yeah,
too.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no viewing parties
man.
after. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was insane.
La
but-
Upe got crazy that day.
Yeah, we did.
The family.
The family, La Familia.
Man, this year, I can't.
Highlight.
This year did fly by.
You know what? Like this year, like even though there's so much soccer going on, I think I was just in so much soccer overload that I was like, I need to get away from the sport. Like, even though I've been begging for this my whole life, like when are we gonna have really important tournaments in the U.S.? And they got to a point where I'm like
Can't keep up.
I really can't keep up. Like,
Yeah.
like I got a life.
Yeah, I think that maybe it was like a 2-week period with the you had in the morning you had the Euros, and then at night you had the Copa America, and you're just sitting in front of there was like Saturdays
Oh,
where
yeah.
I
Just
did not
back to
move.
back to
I
back.
literally
It was
up at 7 or 6 for that first early Euro game. Then make yourself some lunch, watch that last game at 12. Then it went like maybe an hour break straight into Copa America. Like it was there's days you just sit
Just
there and it's
there.
like dark outside all of a sudden.
I'm just saving my PTOs for that 2026 World Cup.
Yeah.
I'm taking 2 weeks off.
Yeah, and you need it. You need to. Whether you're going to the games or not, just to even like
Watch anything.
Yeah, because like thankfully I'm working at home, so I could like kind of have the games on in the
Yeah.
background. But like, it's crazy like to just even try to keep up with these tournaments that are going on all throughout the day. But I love. Something that I enjoy with soccer is you can wake up in the morning, like on a Saturday, watch the Premier League. I love doing that. Like
Me
I
too,
love,
yeah.
like waking up early
Just
and
putting it
watching the
on.
game and not having to wait all day. Because like some of the like even like for whatever NBA or even MLS, like you have to
The
wait
games are in
for
the
the game
evening.
to come on, and you're just like, sitting around and waiting for these morning like international tournaments. Like you just wake up and boom, the game is on. And so
That is
I really
true.
enjoyed those 2 weeks in the summer where we were
Yeah.
just like back to back.
But I'm excited for this Club World Cup. I hope they because I've been wanting this for like forever. Like I always cause like we all talk about top 5 leagues, but like top teams from different leagues, I think they can compete, and there's gonna be either a disaster, because the top teams are just gonna roll through these teams, or are we gonna find these young
Hella
stars?
upsets.
Yeah, hella upsets with these young stars
Yeah.
making a name on themselves, then going to Europe and not
Right.
planning out. But whatever it may be,
But the two MLS teams, so Seattle got a crazy group. They're with like PSG, Atletico, and I forget the other two teams, but they're like it's like.
but it's beautiful.
And then
Seattle and who else?
it's Seattle, and then Inter Miami.
But
They're
imagine
another group like Al Ahly.
Imagine
and-
Seattle
and
is gonna
Palmeiras.
go for like the MLS players that are coming in this year is gonna be amazing because they're gonna have to stack up their teams to compete. And I
Right.
know MLS is not gonna try to go there to get smacked 7-0.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be tight.
How did those two MLS teams get decided?
Seattle won the Copa or the CONCACAF Champions Cup, so they got an automatic bid. And then because the U.S. is hosting the
They
tournament,
gave it to
they got
Miami.
an extra team. So that the team was to be selected, and because Inter Miami won the supporter shield.
No, Miami had Messi, and then
that's
the
exactly.
president was like, "This team deserves to be in the club."
Right. I
I can see that.
BS.
if LAFC would have won the CONCACAF Champions Cup that when they lost to Leon,
Yeah,
they would have also got
they would have qualified.
They would have qualified as well. But because we're the hosts, we got an extra team, and they chose. They were always going to pick Miami.
Yeah.
But Miami gave them a reason to get picked because they won the
Supporter
supporter
Shield.
shield. So, and now they're in a much easier group than
And
Seattle
Neymar's
is.
coming. Neymar is supposedly coming next year.
Like it is. It's hard. Like I mean.
I'm excited about.
I'm not
this.
going to say it's rigged. I'm not going to say it's rigged because that's
I'm
that's-
excited to see the outcome.
No, 'cause, like,
because regardless, it's gonna be good to watch.
And normally we would
and,
never
and
be
we can
talking
gauge
about
the labels. We can really gauge levels now. Like we like to what if this team was in this league? No, we actually gonna see this now.
Yeah,
I'm
and so
excited.
there's been a lot of backlash to the Club World Cup because of all the amount of matches that the players from a player's perspective. And I think that there's a lot of potential for this tournament, and I'm excited to see how it turns out. I don't know if it's entirely necessary, but I mean, like we're talking about a sport, what is necessary and what isn't.
Yeah.
So if they're able to do it in a way where all the players have enough time to rest and they're able to rotate enough players, I'm excited. But normally we would never be talking about the Club World Cup. I've never watched a Club World
But
Cup
it's an
match.
actual World Cup because back then it was like only like 8 teams. And
So
like,
it would be like 7 teams,
Yeah.
and they do it every year. And now they replaced that with the Confederations Cup or something like that. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, but like
and so now they're doing that tournament every year, where it's like kind of a throwaway tournament where nobody's not paying attention. Now they're doing this one every 4 years.
at World Cup format.
Expanded, more teams. So I'm excited. I'm looking
this
forward to that
happening
in
next year?
2025. It's happening.
Yeah.
In 2025.
So that's what I want. Like that's what I want to see. I want to see like a Mexican club go against like a Netherlands, like because like Mexicans have a great team because they have a lot of young South Americans. So and they even it's gonna give a chance for these big teams from smaller countries to have a chance of like, oh, look at this player. He actually did good against a PSG or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and it's going to give them a chance to play on bigger stages and to get seen.
And then the smaller national teams are gonna have a chance to like grow their level as well. So
Yeah.
I'm hyped about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
yeah.
mean, that is exciting.
Yeah. I am tempering my expectations for it because I want to be hyped for it. I want to be excited for it, but at the same time, I don't know how the teams are going to approach it. If they're going to be like playing their top rosters, I anticipate them to be like, especially the European
For the group team, yeah.
I think some of the like the teams from Middle East, even South America and North America, I think they might
But that's the
put
thing
on some
though.
strong because they have a little bit more to prove, and I'm hoping that they can pull off some upsets, and then that wakes up the European team.
And that's exactly what's gonna happen.
So,
They're gonna
yeah.
try to put their B team in. They probably get smacked at 3-0, and they're like, all right,
Yeah.
soccer's not that easy.
Yeah. But at the same time, I hate to see players go down because of all the
lot
things
of-
that they're playing. Like Rodri going down for City, and you see how that's affected them. So I don't know. Like I agree with you, Julio. I do think it's going to be cool, especially it being here and getting the stadium security, and just like the events personnel just ready for 2026 because it was clear this summer they were not prepared. So now they have a second go at it before the final run.
There's gonna be a different team organizing this tournament. So.
Right, and the organizer's different, but at the same time, it's like the stadiums have at least a little bit more like precedent to look back on to see like what to expect.
We're gonna get a glimpse of what Brigitte was talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe. Yeah,
different fan bases coming in and like bringing a little bit of the sazon to the stadium. So it's gonna be.
No, I believe
That's what
that
I
we will
hope
win
for.
chance.
Bro, it's not that bad.
You like that chant.
2014, I was all about
You
it.
like that chant.
Which one?
The I believe that we will
I
win.
believe.
I can't stand that.
No.
I was working after school camp around that time, and
Yeah,
I had
all
the
the
little
kids-
kids. Yeah, I
all
had
the
the little
kids were
kids.
running that.
I was doing soccer camp, and all the little kids.
Tanner and Joey. And
Bro, we had shout out to the logo. We had Jerry West's
Okay.
granddaughter there. I believe she was the daughter of the guy that used to work in the recruitment department for the Lakers or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So
Okay,
I'm talking to this little girl, and I'm like, she's like, "What did you do last night?" It was like during like NBA finals. She was like, "I was in the NBA finals." I'm like, "You a liar!" It's always go, "Yeah, we took a jet." I'm like, "All right, my bad." My bad. I was working at Westwood Charter, so I was like, "Oh, like all right."
You said Westwood Charter.
Westwood Charter.
Oh, yeah,
So
okay, so that's you'll get that kind
yeah,
of clientele there.
I was like, "You were here yesterday." I was like, "Yeah, we flew," and then it's a
We're back.
45-minute flight. So
That's crazy.
flew there.
Was that when the because
They beat. They might have lost to Cleveland that year. It was
the
a
Warriors?
year. Yeah, it was like 2014, 15, or 16.
15 would have been the Warriors Cavs. 14 was still Heat Spurs. So
No, it was Warriors Cavs.
that would have been 15.
Yeah.
15 or 16.
15 or 16.
Yeah.
But I didn't believe her. But I was like, never mind. I'm
She
broke.
wasn't lying.
Yeah.
I'm broke. You up?
Get your
She said, "Brokey."
get your bread up, Mr. Julio.
Yeah. I had a little
What
Honda.
were you doing yesterday?
I was still flying I was still driving my little Honda Civic. I'm like, man.
Damn. Brokey vibes.
I know that same year we had Usher. We had one of the Middle East grandchildren. She was part of royalty. She had a Secret Service guy right next to her at all time. And then you know how kids can be mean.
Yeah.
One of the kids pushed that little girl, and then the Secret Service jumped up like, ooh, ooh. I was like, man. I was like, kick him. I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna get in the middle of that.
We don't condone violence.
It's a whole different country. I'm not gonna mess with royalty, security.
That's a whole nother
Yeah, kids
level.
kids will tell it to you like
How it
is.
is.
they
Kids are
don't mince words. They're
100%
funny.
honest.
They're funny.
Yeah, we had Usher's kid. He was bad.
Remember that one kid that this year that was like, "You're not even gonna be alive."
Oh yeah, the kid that oh my
yeah, he
goodness.
called you old.
Yeah, she was Brigitte. So we did a youth camp, and Brigitte was the guest speaker.
Hey, UP loves the
and
kids.
I forget what.
One of the
Oh,
little
that's
girls
right. She
came
said
up
to
to
when
me.
I grow up, I want to be a professional soccer player. And Bridget's like, I can't wait to watch you on TV one day.
No, she said, when I grow up, I want to be like you. And I was like, I want to be like you when you grow up. And then the other friend was like, you're not even going to be alive with that at that time.
I would have been like, oh, this. I would have been like, oh,
I
this.
just looked at her like,
I would have been like, oh, this little girl probably doesn't have both her parents.
that's messed up. Oh. This is why he can't be a guest speaker with kids.
No, I work with kids. The kids love me, man. I just got a message from one of the parents.
He works with kids.
Yeah.
How does he
that is
work?
wild.
No, I don't work with kids. I
used to.
I used to like.
Well, you used to.
I got a message from one of the parents and like, you changed my kid's life. My kinder.
Now he doesn't stop joking around
my-
like you.
Yeah, my kinders now that the kinder class I had that year, now this year was their senior year. They all going to college.
Wow.
I wonder who went to jail. Like, I know there was one kid. I was like, ooh, I don't know about your future.
I mean, you can tell, like, you can tell the kids.
Nah, but it was great. I
Kids are
I
great.
learned a lot from the kids. Made me grow up fast. I was one of them,
Yeah.
and they were in kinder.
Was that this year?
That was this year. That was
Dang.
March of this year. Yeah.
We
When
got
I had-
into. We started talking about next year.
I know. Yeah, I know. We were talking about the next year, but I mean, we
It's still reminiscing.
yeah,
off
we
of
wrapped
what-
up 2024 pretty well.
Everything
and
was
I
good.
think- yeah. So
Lots of soccer.
Yeah. So
Lots of soccer. More soccer to come.
more soccer to come, and I'm excited for it. But before we wrap things up here, let's share our Spotify and Apple Music Wrapped because I think
Top 3 artists.
yeah, or artists, songs, albums. Like you can go through it right now. I'm gonna go through mine, but it was a very West Coast heavy year, and we talked about this earlier. I think some of my top album was Blue Lips, Schoolboy Q. Up there, I mean Kendrick Lamar's album was on. We didn't even get a chance to talk about that.
Snap, I know.
So Kendrick's album was on there. Vince Staples' album was on there. I had the No Worries album on there, and so and then Tyler the Creator's too. So like that is a completely West Coast. Like even with No Worries, you have Anderson .Paak with bringing the West Coast representation.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I was like pretty like those are my 5 favorite albums of the year. So to see that as my top 5, I was like, so that's and it's just wild to think that all of that came from. I mean, pretty much LA. Anderson Paak's from like Oxnard, so a little bit 805. Shout out to 805, but
shout out to 805.
That to me that was kind of interesting because normally Kanye's been my top artist every year, so he still was this year, but. The album wise, like I think that it was a good year for the West.
Yeah,
that was my wrap up.
Yeah, I think I just got my monthly. January I was listening to a lot of Lil Wayne. February Usher.
I mean that makes sense.
Right?
That makes sense.
That's right. March Schoolboy Q.
That was when the album came out.
Yeah, when the album came out. April was Pedro Capo. He's a different Spanish artist. May Kendrick Lamar. June Kanye West. July Kendrick Lamar because that beef was going.
Right. Yeah.
August it was my dad's birthday, so it was Emmanuel, like an old school artist, his type of artist. September same thing, Los Vikings, Salvadorian group from the '60s. So then October is Mark Nasty. He's a ratchet West Coast guy. His name says it all. November I went back with Kendrick Lamar, so it was a lot of West Coast, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Love the West Coast vibes. I'm on the West Coast vibes, but this year I think my top artist embodies just the type of trip I was gonna have. Because my number 1 was Fade, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Right.
I was on him heavy.
Yeah.
And last year, my top artist was Karol G, and they're together. So it only made sense.
So it was because of you.
Yeah,
you
basically.
put him.
Yeah.
Me and the fans, because Karol G was popping off last year. And then this year, Fade was popping off. So it makes sense. A lot of my top 5 are all Latino reggaetoneros. So.
Who? We had a guest that said that they saw Fade in concert. Was it
Claudia? No,
it was a guy that he went to go see him. Was it Memo? Was it Memo?
Oh yes, it was Memo.
Yeah,
he did say he was going actually,
Yeah.
because it was around the time where he was having a concert this year, I think.
Yeah, that was
Something like
earlier
that.
this year. That
Was
was
Or was it late last year?
no, that was
Late last year.
Late last year because he got traded halfway into the
Memo.
season.
Yeah,
that
he
was
started-
last year, early
Yeah,
last year.
yeah, because
Early
he got
last
traded
year.
halfway.
It was right before the 100th episode.
You're
Actually,
right, you're
Yeah,
right.
Memo. Yeah, this always blows just blends together. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But staying on that, I was looking at our Spotify wrap for the podcast, and it shows all our listeners' top genres that they listen to. Number 1 is reggaeton. So I mean that says it all.
It makes sense.
And what were the top episodes this year?
Paige Nielsen was the number 1 episode by far.
Jesus, I know.
And the one that I missed out.
I know. No Julio noticing. I was noticing. Yeah.
I was just over Angel City Fires. They were not
They're
doing
over
good.
you.
They were not doing good. So I was like, I boycotted that episode now.
And then she got traded, bro.
You see, talk to the front office.
Yeah.
They just let go of the GM. So what
did.
were the other episodes?
Yeah. They only showed the top one.
All right.
The top episode. And then we were the top 10 playlist for 50 people, I think, which is
Shout out to 50, man. Let me know who you guys are. And
Mal had us number 2 or number 3.
No
So,
way. Look at Mal.
She stays top
that's what she a fiance, yo.
She stays top 10. She stays top 10. She showed me. She's like.
Aw, cute.
Where my gift at?
What do I get?
Yeah.
She's basically part of the urban pitch.
Yeah. Pretty
Damn.
much. Yeah.
She really is.
She just leaves it a plane and Kobe listens all
I
the
think
time.
so. I think she leaves it for when Kobe's by himself and just something.
That's what Kobe hides behind the door.
Yeah, well, she's got the dog cam, the nanny cams on Kobe all the time.
Yeah.
So in all the rooms in our place, she's got a camera.
bet.
So
Yeah. What
but,
a year though.
Yeah.
We still have a few things coming up before the end of the year.
Yeah,
so
yeah, couple
We're
more.
12
exciting
episodes
things.
away from the 200th episode.
Damn.
Yeah, I think like 15 episodes. I think this might be 184, 185.
think
So
we-
I'd have to check that out. But keep it tapped in. We got some big stuff coming in. A couple more weeks this year. Next year, 2025, we got some big things planned. So appreciate y'all for sticking with us this year. And we are only doing bigger and better things. Just keep trying to level up, right?
That part.
Keep rocking with the free will.
Yes. Yeah. All right. This has been another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, A Beautiful Game of Life, part of the Believe Network. For Julio Monteroso, Bridget Flores, I'm Ramsey Albuchala. We'll see you next week.